Hello and welcome to the weather update. It's after 10 o'clock on September the 21st, and we had a nice day to start, and then the cirrus kind of came in later on in the afternoon. We'll show you. I did go to the Pine Barrens, so it was pretty beautiful, as you see there. And see there, we had clear sky until about a little afternoon, and then early afternoon, the cirrus started rolling in, and you can see it there. We also had some cumulus popping up as well. You can see some of the cumulus there, some pretty big ones as well, along the sea breeze front, actually. This is the satellite. You can see moisture from the tropical system that's developing off the southeast coast, which we are going to be talking about. You can also see smoke as well, wildfire smoke, right over there in over New England. Looking at the MODIS satellite here, you can see again, there's that smoke coming in over New England. You can see the smoke. One thing I noticed the smoke also causes, you get contrails. Look at all these contrails from the planes. There are way, way too many planes in the sky. That's a whole nother thing that humanity doesn't want to deal with. We've got to really cut the air traffic in half. But anyway, you can see the cirrus there streaming in on the south, and then we got toward the afternoon. You can see it kind of coming up a little more there. And this is all from this developing storm system right here. That is going to be Tropical Storm Ophelia. And here, either way, is Nigel. There's Nigel right there. So Nigel is, look at how far north Nigel is. It's incredible to see something that far north. So let's go to our current conditions, and then we'll, of course, talk about the tropics and what we have in store for the weekend. So you'll see here, tonight, depending on where you are, if you're out in Islip, 58 degrees, a nice cool night. It's not so cool by me, though. So it's Farmingdale 63, but I got 65 in the alley. You might have to put the air conditioner on because it's not really that cool. It's kind of warm in here. 52 is West Hampton. Definitely won't need the AC if you live over there. Nor will you need it if you live in Ocean County as well. 58 at Coyle Field. Let's take a look and show you what the day was like at Islip. And you'll see, to start, we had the northeast winds, light winds. I mean, maybe it was a little breezy at times. Only low. We still managed to get to the low 70s, though, so we didn't really, we still managed to get there. And then as we got toward the evening, that's when the winds became southeasterly. You could see right around 3:30 is when we saw that southeasterly wind, though, in Hampton Bays, where I was, it started way earlier than that. If we look at West Hampton here, you'll see that it started way earlier than that. So let's see. They had their wind start around 2:45. Yeah, it's about right. So I mean, I could feel it when I was walking out there. The sea breeze coming. Let's go to our highs and lows for the day. We'll start with highs first, and you see generally low 70s. Still managed to get to the low 70s today. And New Jersey got into the mid to maybe even some upper 70s over there. Low 7, and then the low temperatures here. 44 at West Hampton. Wow. 55 at Farmingdale. 54 at Islip. 49 in Old Brookville. My alley probably just got down to the upper 50s. I think that's all it got down to. Probably around 60 like LaGuardia. We also had 40s for lows in the New Jersey Pine Barrens as well. Let's go over our statistics for the day. So for Islip, we got up to 72, normal high 73, so only 1 degree off on that. The low 54 was 3 degrees below normal, so we averaged about 2 degrees below normal for the day at Islip. Central Park, a high of 71 was 3 degrees below normal, so they were 3 degrees below normal for the day. If we look at LaGuardia, also below normal, 2 degrees. So most sites were a couple degrees below normal today, despite all the sunshine that we had. So let's go to the Hurricane Center and talk about all these storms going on. So let's start with Nigel. The hurricane is still a hurricane. It's amazing that we got a hurricane in the northern Atlantic this far north. It is really just incredible. So looking at the public advisory at 9 p.m., its location 43.7 north, 40.8 west. About 630 miles east-southeast of Cape Race, Newfoundland. Maximum sustained winds are 80 miles an hour, moving east-northeast at 37 miles an hour. Wow, it's moving fast. Minimum central pressure 977 millibars, 28.85 inches. And the hurricane force winds extend out up to 70 miles in the center, and tropical storm force winds extend out up to 205 miles in the center. The storm is definitely getting bigger. But the concern that we have here is what we call potential tropical cyclone 16. And you can see these are the impacts here. If we put the warning cone up here, you'll see we already have tropical storm warnings for the mid-Atlantic. So the Hurricane Center has finally embraced the idea that this is going to be a tropical storm, and it's going to make landfall in the mid-Atlantic. So we have tropical storm warnings in effect for the coast of North Carolina, Virginia, as well as Delaware and maybe even part of Maryland. It's going to be a tropical storm. You can see. So let's read the latest public advisory on it right now. All right, so its location is 29.5 north, 75.6 west, about 300. And this will be Ophelia, about 340 miles southeast of Charleston, South Carolina, and about 395 miles south of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Maximum stay winds at 35 miles an hour, moving north at 7 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 1,007 millibars, 29.80 inches. And this storm is, again, going to be an issue. All right, it's going to be, regardless of whether it becomes a system, it will be a tropical system. All right. So let's, and here are the coastal impacts, by the way, storm surges. Let's go to that. Where did we get that? Here we go. So this is your storm surge here, up to 5 feet storm surge here. And they're just showing Jersey now 1 to 3 feet, but they may have to move this up. You can see, though, they're definitely going to see some storm surge from this as well along the mid-Atlantic coast. So let's take a look at the satellite here, and we'll take a look at the southeast here. And we'll look at this system here on the satellite. You can definitely see, in fact, we're going to put this on the 60 frame. Yeah, let's do 60 frames. So this is the system right here. Looks pretty disorganized right now, but you can see the convection is firing up. And those definitely are thunderstorms there that are firing up. And if we put in the flash intensity, we'll see, look for lightning here, because that's one of the telltale signs here that you're seeing lightning here in these. This is all a developing system. All right, that's developing right now. All right. So here's, again, we can actually look at 16 over here. Actually better here, so you can get a chance to see here. So this is called 16, but it's going to become Ophelia, and Nigel, obviously. Get Nigel here. Nigel's now starting to really get caught up in the jet stream and starting to really look a little more disorganized now. Finally, but still see that convection going, which is pretty crazy to see. But I'm not going to really talk too much about Nigel. That's not going to be a threat to us. We're going to worry more about Ophelia at this point. So let's go to the... let's go to 16. We'll look at it on the enhanced here. So this is the enhanced, all right? I know it looks disorganized now, but it's organizing. It's forming. If we look at the spaghetti models here, you'll see they all take it into North Carolina. But then after that, some of them disagree. Some of them take it north into the Great Lakes. Most of them take it right back out over the ocean to the south, so it's going to make a right-hand turn and go off to our south. Instead of going directly up the coast, it'll make a right-hand turn. And then once it gets back out of the ocean, it could become something again. Then we have the GFS ensembles, kind of showing a similar type of deal there. GEPS ensembles. You can see these are a little more of a spread over here in this one. And then we have our forecast. Probably won't become a hurricane, but it will become a tropical storm, though. You know, you got to expect the unexpected, though. So let's take a look at the models here, and we'll shift this over to eastern U.S. here. All right, so this is the GFS here at 18Z. And you can see how it's going to really rapidly strengthen through tomorrow. You can see it's going to rapidly strengthen and then make landfall right in North Carolina right there. All right. Tomorrow we have clouds coming in, and then we're going to be dealing with the heavy rain, windswept rain for us all day Saturday. And here's the storm system there, and then it kind of still sits over us. Here we go. Sunday, still lingering to Sunday. It doesn't stop until Monday, finally. So we have 2 days in a row of rain here. Of course, this is the lower resolution GFS. just to show you what it's doing here. All right. Um, let's go to the European model. So here's the European model. Also tightens it up. Makes that landfall in the wee hours of Saturday night, Friday night. It's Saturday morning. Obviously, the rain gets started here after midnight, and then it's going to be raining again nonstop Saturday, and then here comes another wave of rain Sunday. As this low just kind of the reason why it's doing this, and if you look at both models, you'll see that if we look at the jet stream here, there really isn't. It's kind of just cut off. You can see here's your trough right here. It's kind of just cut off. Kind of just cuts off right there. So there isn't really much of a jet stream to move it along. So that's why it's going to take its sweet time, and we're going to see a lot of rainfall from it. So if we look at the total accumulated precip on the GFS here, kind of shows you most of the rainfall is going to be over the mid-Atlantic, where they could see 3 to 4 inches of rain. But our area eventually we'll see in waves, we'll see probably over 2 inches of rain Saturday and Sunday as well. All right. And then, after that, we have a high pressure that's going to try to build in to hopefully keep the rain to the south. You can see it's just a very unusual pattern. Here we go again. It's trying to form something else. It's very unusual to see this, just block pattern here that we have. It's really unusual. And yeah, let me go back to Kona. Let me go. No. Let's go to the European and we'll take a look at the rainfall in the European. You can see the European is now also kind of trending toward that 1 to 2 inch scenario that we're going to have. So this whole weekend is going to suck. I know there are a lot of activities, and the timing is really, really bad for this. But maybe it'll wake people up about climate change and how screwed up this is. Maybe. Probably not, but anyway, let's go to HRRR and look at the 0Z run. We'll take a look at the HRRR here. So obviously we're dry tomorrow. Enjoy that last dry day we have tomorrow to get outside, even if it's going to be clouds, because when Saturday comes, here comes the rain, and it's going to linger around all day long. Maybe there'll be a break in the evening, maybe, but I have a feeling there'll be pesky drizzle. There's your low right there. That's coming in, all right? Let's change this region to the southeast. So I'll show you what this is doing here. So yeah, it does get pretty wrapped up before it makes landfall. Now the HRRR is a little faster. I notice, just a tad faster. But still, it's going to be a lot of heavy rain in that storm system right there. All right. NAM 12. I have 42 hours of the 0Z NAM 12. So this is the NAM 12, and you can see how it tightens it up, makes that landfall. NAM's even faster. Again, tomorrow night would be its landfall. And then it kind of, once it gets inland, it will weaken. So the wind threat, if on this particular track, the wind threat won't be so much an issue for us on this particular track right here. All right. So let's go back to the GFS, and we'll take a look at the impact, as far as the coastal impact goes with the waves, because there you can see that the mid-Atlantic is going to be dealing with quite a lot of big waves. Tomorrow, we'll just start seeing the waves start getting bigger, but the GFS still has a lot of big waves coming in on us Saturday. We'd have a lot of big waves, and then it lets up a little bit on Sunday, but we're still, between the rainfall and the storm surge coming in, there's going to be a lot of flooding at the barrier islands and low-lying areas. You can see that right there. And that's why we have a rip current statement advisory. Also, a wind advisory has been posted for New Jersey, so that probably might get extended northward, perhaps. Let's go back to our models here and look at. Go back to the GFS. Back to the HRRR. And we'll go and we'll look at the dew points and wind flow. All right, so it kind of visualizes how this all works. All right, so east winds tomorrow. All right, you'll see moisture levels increase. You can see it's a warm core on this storm system. At least it'll start out that way. And you can see we're not really going to get into that warm, humid air because it's just going to stay. We'll probably, if it goes inland more, it will become more extratropical. And luckily, at least it's going inland and it's going into the North Carolina instead of going straight up the coast and hitting us, which was my fear. But luckily, we're getting off easy again in some ways. So temperatures, obviously tonight we'll have lows in the mid 50s though. Again, who knows? My alley, mid 50s, maybe 40s, but probably not in this place. It's a shame that I have to put the air conditioner on a cool night like tonight, but this place just doesn't cool off. Friday, 70. You need to have a cool wind blowing, otherwise it's just not going to get into that alley. Tomorrow, temperatures similar to where we were today. Maybe a little bit cooler with that stronger easterly wind and more high clouds. So maybe temperatures only getting around 70. Doesn't drop back as much tomorrow night because the clouds the increasing probably 55 to 60, and then we're not gonna make it out of the 60s, and we're gonna struggle to make it to the mid to upper 60s on Saturday with that chilly rain. It's gonna be miserable out there. All right. Looking at the GFS, you can see. Look at how cool it stays on Saturday. All right, that's that easterly flow. Still staying cool on Sunday. All right, and then we start getting back to, somewhat normal conditions here. Temperatures generally, will get better. Behind this storm system, the GFS wants to build a high, and you could see that high coming in the back doorway Tuesday and Wednesday with northeast to east winds. Whether we'll clear the skies out, that's another story. That I can't say for now. That's way too early to predict that at this point. And I'm not even concerned about that right now. All right. Let's go back to eastern U.S. And we'll go to look at the icon model. This is the icon model. I think there's pretty much an agreement on what's going to happen here at this point. So the models finally agree on what's going to happen. All right. And you can see there's that sense of the rain. It's just you're going to have it Saturday, and then, it's going to linger into Sunday. It could be heavy at times on Sunday, too. And look at that, even part of Monday. Doesn't really get out of here until Monday afternoon. Maybe stuck inside all weekend long. This is going to suck. We'll have to see what happens. All right. So let's look at a few more models here. Let's go. Not all the models of the short range go out that far. We can look at the NAM 3. This is the NAM 3. That's only going to go out till Saturday. All right, so we have to go to the 18Z run. You can see there is some really heavy rain. It's almost like a feeder band that's going to come in. All right, you can see the heavy rain over Jersey. And then look at that. Some really just heavy downpours. Maybe even some thunderstorms in there, perhaps. Some really heavy downpours. And then when it's not pouring rain, you'll probably have drizzle and mist and all that other kind of crap going on. That's a lot of rain right there that's going to fall. Right, and if we look at the NAM just through that, total accumulated precip, you'll see, just for that, you'll see wherever these heavier showers form, you could be looking over 2, maybe 3 inches of rain with this. All right, so I think the main impact, at least for people inland, is going to be the rainfall from this system. Let's go and visualize this a little more. So we'll go and look at event 2 sky, and we'll go look at wind gusts here as this thing starts shaping up right now. It's just getting started. If we move it into Friday here, you'll start seeing it start to really intense. Oh, here we go. It's starting to really take shape here. We are tomorrow in the afternoon. You can see it's already taking shape. And you can see, look at some of these strong wind gusts here. Could really, like I said, explode become quite a strong tropical storm with those tropical storm impacts for the Carolinas, and that's where there's tropical storm warning out for those areas. Not for us, but you can see we do have the northeasterly fetch tomorrow. Already along the Jersey Shore, you got winds gusting to 20 because you got the grade between this and the high pressure to the north. All right, and then as we get into, look at that. That's a nice little eye structure there that's developing. And you can see in the eye wall, you could have winds gusting to almost hurricane force. And then in these feeder bands, too, you could have some strong wind gusts as well. That's another thing to watch for. Let's move this over to Saturday as this thing moves in over the Carolinas here. But you still see some strong winds coming to the Jersey Shore here. 2 o'clock on Saturday, you could see There's some, in those showers, there could be some really strong winds embedded in them. Wind gusts possibly to 50, and the showers or maybe even thunderstorms that could wind up developing off this. And you can see the winds here. I mean, nothing terrible, but it's enough to cause a problem for sure. And if we, again, put this into the perspective and look at the waves, you see the issue here that we're going to have a lot of coastal flooding with these big waves that we're going to be dealing with on Saturday. And this is going to be a big problem for the Jersey Shore as well as the South Shore of Long Island. You can see right here. Friday, it doesn't really start too much tomorrow. It starts in a little bit, but it's Saturday that we're going to see the worst kind of flooding here. And this is where you're going to see the biggest impacts. But if I move it to Friday, those impacts are more focused along the mid-Atlantic here. And this is where you could see some really big waves coming off of this storm system here, all right, which will be named Ophelia. So let's go to the windy.com model, which is the European model, and we'll visualize this with another different set of model statistics here. Let's move this to tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So this is the European. See, there's your eye right there. And you can see, and look at that, 74-mile-an-hour winds. I can't rule out this thing possibly becoming a hurricane before it makes, we've seen this now because of climate change. Hurricanes can form very quickly and get strong very quickly as well. And you can see the European's wind field is bigger. And you can see we already have wind gusts approaching 50 by overnight Saturday morning. Here we are, wind gusts to 26. I'm moving this along here. Saturday, you can see those stronger winds make their move northward here. And off the coast, you got winds up to 50. And even along the Jersey Shore, you could have winds gusting to 41. And over Long Island, you could have winds gusting to 34. The trees still have leaves on them, so that could help cause some power outages in some areas. And you can see here we are, Saturday. Look at this. Here we are, 7 p.m. Gusts to 39 miles an hour. And look at this here, 60 miles an hour offshore. So this is the kind of thing, and that's just going to push the water in to the Jersey Shore as well as Long Island. And this is the concern we have. Here we are overnight Sunday morning, still dealing with the impacts from this storm system. Winds gusting to 42. And if you go here looking to the south here, you see over the water still 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So still, as it's going to spread out as it gains extratropical characteristics, which is not necessarily a good thing for us. And we're still dealing with it. We have to wait until Monday, finally, when we start seeing a more offshore flow, but it's still breezy. Here we are Monday, 2 o'clock. Still dealing with these breezy conditions here. All right. Let's go to the waves. That's the next thing we got to look at. So, looking at tomorrow, it won't be too bad tomorrow, though. I think by later in the day, you're going to start to notice definitely things the waves getting bigger at the beach. But here we are Saturday, and this is where it really gets bad. And I mean, this looks pretty bad. So you can see here off the Jersey Shore, you got 12-foot waves here. Look over here off the South Shore, 10-foot waves. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of coastal flooding. It's going to be a lot of impacts from this storm along the coast. And that's where I think the storm's going to be worse. And if you go out 15-foot waves, this is going to be bad news. And look, it lingers into Sunday. Sunday, we're still going to be dealing with it. So during times of high tide, you're going to have a lot of inundation going on along the beaches from this tropical storm Ophelia. All right, you can see that right there, and that's the concern that we have. And then, of course, there's the rainfall. So we throw that out there with the rainfall, rain accumulation here, and we could do next 3 days rain accumulation. You could see. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Next 3 days. Hold on, I got to move this up a little bit. Next 5 days. So 1.38, 1.39. I mean, that is a lot, but look, they're going to get even more in Jersey. Some of these areas in Jersey could get 3 inches or even 4 inches. It all depends on where these heavy showers and thunderstorms set up for sure. And that's the concern that we have in these tropical feeder bands can have some pretty heavy rain and even severe thunderstorms, which I guess we should take a look at and see the Cape values for Saturday, shall we? I don't know if we're going to have any Cape with the storm like that. It's not showing any Cape. There is a lot off to the south though here. There's a lot of Cape off to the south. Look at this. So Does that move in our direction, or does it not? That's kind of hard to say. We have that cool air at the surface, so that might help inhibit it. Lifted index also kind of gets inhibited, but there's a lot of variables that we still don't know yet. But this storm weekend is going to suck, and it's not just going to suck because it's rainy. It's not just going to suck because it's windy, but we're going to have a lot of coastal flooding, and even freshwater flooding as well. You combine that, and I'm really worried about the Jersey Shore as well as the South Shore of Long Island, but especially the Jersey Shore. Due to that easterly fetch there, it's going to be rough. So we'll have a lot more information for you tomorrow night on the storm as it forms. But right now it hasn't been named yet, but it will be. This is Tropical Storm, potential Tropical Cyclone 16, but it will be named Ophelia. So you're going to get used to saying that name frequently for the next 2 to 3 days, and maybe more if this turns out to be a major disaster. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night, and thank you for watching.